Vice President Sara Duterte thanks President Bongbong Marcos for supposedly allowing her and her father, Rodrigo Duterte, to mend their relationship while the former president is in detention. The Vice President is currently in The Hague, Netherlands, where her father is currently jailed upon the order of the International Criminal Court. In a chance interview, the Vice President says she and her father are on better terms now amid the former president's detention.
This really is ironic, but I have to thank Bongbong Marcos because there was forgiveness between me and PRD for all that has happened in our lives, and we have a relationship now, a father-daughter relationship.
According to the Vice President, her time visiting the former president inside the ICC detention center has been one of the longest meetings she has had with her father. She recalls that the former president was always busy when she was growing up, but now they have the time to talk.
Now I have this every day with him, talking about life, talking about family, and for that I feel like I am blessed.
Blessed, yeah.
Because at this point, he's already 80 and he's already retired. Nabigyan kami ng ganitong time na makapag-usap as a father-daughter.
Yeah.
Sad lang that it has to happen inside the ICC. But yes, thank you sa kanya.
Former President Duterte is facing charges before the ICC in connection with his administration's bloody war against illegal drugs, which left thousands dead. The Duterte camp has argued that the Philippines is no longer under the jurisdiction of the ICC, so the former president's arrest was allegedly invalid. However, Marcos repeatedly said the government was merely cooperating with the Interpol when it enforced the ICC's arrest warrant against former President Duterte. The palace and other legal experts argued that the ICC retains its jurisdiction on crimes committed when the Philippines was still a member of the Rome Statute. Duterte's case covers alleged crimes against humanity in the Philippines between November 1, 2011 and March 16, 2019, when the country was still a member. The palace maintains that cabinet officials have already provided sufficient information during the previous Senate hearing on the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Led by Senator Amy Marcos, the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations will hold another hearing on Duterte's arrest on Thursday, April 3. In a press briefing on Wednesday, April 2, Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro says the attendance of President Bongbong Marcos' cabinet members in the next hearing are no longer necessary. Castro argues that preliminary findings had already been established from the previous hearing.
Sa tingin po namin ay sapat na po considering the fact na nagkaroon na rin po siya ng kanyang preliminary findings. So, yun po at hindi po natin masasabi na hindi naman po tinugunan ang mga katanungan kung ito po ay in aid of legislation.
The palace official likewise emphasizes that the current administration is not withholding any information regarding Duterte's apprehension and transfer to the International Criminal Court. Earlier, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said administration officials will skip the next hearing on Duterte's arrest. Based on his March 31 letter to Senator Marcos, Bersamin said officials already answered all questions to the best of their knowledge. Meanwhile, in a letter dated April 1, Senator Marcos is appealing to the palace to reconsider its decision. The senator points out that her committee's findings are only preliminary, adding that she received new pieces of information. In the interest of fairness, she expresses her committee's desire to provide an opportunity for executive officials to explain and clarify issues, especially with the new information. Senator Marcos previously said her committee found what she describes as glaring lapses by the government. She insisted that the government supposedly had no obligation to arrest the former president and hand him to an international court. But Malacanang has repeatedly refuted such claims, saying it merely complied with its obligations to the Interpol. Former President Rodrigo Duterte's supporters flood the social media of an American author who shares the same name as Duterte's lawyer at the International Criminal Court. On his Facebook account, the author Nicholas Kaufman describes how overwhelmed he is following the surge in the number of messages he received. Duterte's supporters apparently mistook the writer for Nicholas Kaufman, the former president's lead lawyer for his case before the ICC. While the two men's names sound the same, the author's surname is spelled with two N's. The author has also pinned a post on his social media addressing Filipinos and asking them to stop messaging. In the pinned post, the author clarifies he's not the lawyer representing Duterte at the ICC. The author notes that the messages came from Duterte supporters, but he shares how he started getting comments from persons who are against the former president as well. According to the author, the senders of anti-Duterte messages were saying sorry to him. The author shares how the messages warned him that some pro-Duterte messages were supposedly from bots or trolls. Kaufman is a horror, urban fantasy, and adventure fiction author. Meanwhile, Duterte's lead counsel in the ICC is a British-Israeli lawyer who is one of the few accredited attorneys of the International Tribunal. Former President Duterte is facing charges for crimes against humanity in relation to his administration's anti-drug campaign. While government data shows 6,000 died in a drug war, human rights groups report at least 20,000 deaths. The palace says the Philippine government is not harassing nor targeting any particular nationality following a travel advisory issued by the Chinese embassy in Manila. The Chinese embassy earlier issued a travel reminder citing alleged harassment to Chinese nationals visiting the Philippines. While the original text is in Chinese, a quick machine translation of the travel advisory shows the embassy alleged frequent interrogation and harassment of Chinese citizens and businesses. It also cited supposed increased security risks due to recent political rallies nationwide. At a press briefing on Wednesday, April 2, Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro explains that the embassy's advisory is simply a normal consular function of China. She also emphasizes that only those who commit crimes are not welcome in the country. Castro suggests that the embassy's travel advisory was likely a response to the government's ban on all Philippine offshore gaming operators, with many of the workers being Chinese nationals.
We can assure China na hindi po tayo nagtatarget ng particular nationality or particular national na para iharas. Tandaan po natin, lahat po dito ay welcome, except po, of course, kapag gumagawa po ng krimen, i-implement po natin kung ano po ang batas. Malamang po nasasabi po nila ito dahil sa ating pagpapatupad dito sa Pogo na dapat ay mawala na sa atin at karamihan po dito ay mga Chinese nationals. So malamang po ay isa ito sa nagiging issue po. Pero muli, ang DFA po ay open po for discussion regarding this at i-assure natin muli ang China na wala po tayong tinatarget na particular national.
Warns the Philippines against what it believes to be a threat to regional peace after the US approved the possible sale of fighter jets to Manila. The US earlier announced it green-lighted the sale of 20 fighter jets and related equipment worth $5.5 billion to the Philippines. In a press conference on Wednesday, April 2, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun says the Philippines' defense cooperation with other countries should not target any third party. He believes that the decision of the US may worsen regional tensions.
关于菲律宾与美国的军事安全合作，中方已经多次阐明了立场。菲律宾同其他国家开展的任何防务安全合作，都不应该针对第三方，或者损害第三方的利益，更不能威胁地区的和平与安全，加剧地区的紧张。
Earlier, the US said the sale will boost the Philippine Air Force's ability to conduct maritime domain awareness. It also said the sale will enhance the Philippines' suppression of enemy air defenses. For its part, the Armed Forces of the Philippines welcomed Washington's announcement. The AFP says it is anticipating future enhancements that will strengthen its ability to safeguard Philippine territory. Beijing asserts sovereignty over most of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea. China continues to reject an international tribunal ruling that dismissed its sweeping claims over the waterway. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.